Well, hello, everybody. This is the Uncle's Show, and you're listening to our show with Uncle Ryano. What's up, Ryano?
Oh, just kicking it, hanging out today with my brother.
See, I tell you what, I like these return interviews. This is like the second or third one we've done. This guy right here was I want to say it was the first big star that we had on here back 3 or 4 months ago. Leon Everette, how you doing, bud?
I'm fine, Uncle Rob, Uncle Ryano. How y'all doing out there?
Man, we're doing good. Just trying to manage to get through this heat and this summer, man.
It's 100 degrees here today. And
yeah, it's.
I don't know where y'all are, but it's 100 here, and that's hot.
It's 102 over here, and we got that humidity to go with it. So we're scorching. We're scorching.
It's so hot over here. The trees are chasing dogs around, trying to get watered a little bit.
But hey,
it's hot. But you know, we're out here in the recording studio, two-shed recording studio, with my sound engineer Brantley Mathis. By the way, he does all my engineering here at the studio. But we're actually out here mixing a TV show that we did, the God and Country TV show. And I thought, well, with air conditioners going, at least it'll be cool in here. But all this equipment going, I think it's hotter in here than it is outside. I'm sweating over here.
Well, no matter how hot it is, your TV show is hot right now, and that's where we're going to pick this interview up. Last time we were talking about you were fixing to start doing your God and Country again. You had done it before, and you were fixing to revisit it. Tell us how that's been going over the last few months.
Well, it's been going pretty good. You know, of course, when you start something out, you got to get all the bugs out. Y'all know how that works.
Yes, sir.
And this past show, I mean, the first one, I mean, it went really great. It was fine. And this second one we had, I mean, it just seemed like everything wanted to go wrong. You know what I mean? And we had a crossover going in our sound system, you know. It kept going in and out and going in and out and bouncing. But anyway, that's why we're in here in the studio. We're mixing it all out. You know, it'd be good for the show. But just a lot of problems we got to get worked out. And just getting the bugs out. But other than that, it's going absolutely great. And this month, August, I think it's 20th, 15th, 20th, whatever it is, the third Saturday of August, whatever it is, we got a big group coming in called Restore the Broken, big gospel group. I don't know if y'all have heard of them or not, but they're all over the place, big time. So this will be our biggest show that we've had coming up in August. So we're all excited about that, but it's been going great, y'all, and having a good time with it anyway.
Well, I see your posts on Facebook and everything, and y'all got the videos going on with performances and all that. You got some big news that came up last month. Your record label. Tell us that was a major deal.
That was a big thing. GAC Records. We started it, and of course Beverly Jenkins, you know, BGJ Promotions. I've been knowing her a long time. But she does such a fantastic job. And I was talking with her, and I said, you know, I've been wanting to start an independent label. But what I want to do, kind of want to work it as more like a major label. And I don't want a ton of artists on there. I just want, you know, very few artists, because I'm a firm believer. I go back because I've just been on major labels forever. I was with RCA and then Mercury Polygram. So that's I know how they operate. Independence, I don't really know. But I told Beverly, I said, I kind of want to operate it more like a major does, you know? And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I was with RCA 5 years, and they never had over 21 artists on their label at one time. Never.
Really?
And I never will forget, they were sitting there telling me that you can't work with so many artists. You know, you can have a label full of people, but you can't really work them. And so just have a certain amount that you can really work. And that's what I've been trying to do. Just work it, you know, so that we can, and treat everybody equal, you know, and there's no favoritism, so to speak. And that's what we've been trying to do. And we're only 4 months old. And y'all do the top 20 countdown, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We got 7 artists on GAC Records, and as of August, I can't wait to hear y'all's countdown too. Friday, I know y'all doing it. Comes out Friday, right?
Saturday,
top 20. Saturday, the top 20 countdown cash box. and I can't wait to hear it. But all of my artists, every one of them on GAC Records is in Cashbox Magazine now. I think we got like 3 or 4 in the top 20 with you guys. And so I'm all excited about that. Every artist on GAC Records, I can proudly say in 4 months' time, we got every one of them to Cashbox on the charts.
Now,
so,
you
God be the glory on that. That's all I got to say.
Hey, absolutely, for sure. Now, you made another step with GAC Records. It got a new name, kind of.
Yeah, well, it's GAC Records Nashville.
Tell us what I mean is. Did anything change, or is it you just incorporated the name?
Incorporated LLC, and then it doesn't make any difference where a label is at, and it's just something about whenever you out there hitting booking agencies or promoters or whatever, something about that Nashville name, whether it's done in Nashville or not. It's exactly makes it official. Whoopie whoopie, and so there's been more. I don't know, the Texas and all that down there talking about George Strait, people like that. Look how many records, #1 smash hits. They're not cut in Nashville. There's a ton of records in smashes that's never been cut in Nashville. But just because it says RCA or CBS, MCA, whatever, Capital, wow, Nashville. There's been a lot of super smash hits cut in studios just like this that was not cut in Nashville.
Well, yeah, before everybody knew about Muscle Shoals,
exactly.
That was, and that's this is the first time in my life where I've ever witnessed the possibility, because of the technology that people have, where we can do that type of thing all over the world,
Sure can.
And I'm really excited about it. I have friends that have the big brick and mortar studios in Nashville, and
right.
I my heart goes out to them for a lot of work has gone down because so many people are doing it out here,
But you hit the nail on the head, Uncle Ryano. I mean, the equipment now, and see this man right here, Brantley. I mean, he's a Nashville engineer, whatever, and all this kind of stuff. But just like he said, we got everything right here that they got up there. The mics, the what do you call this stuff? The inboard equipment or whatever.
The soundboards, the mixers.
All this kind of stuff. We got the same thing. He's just not in Nashville now hitting the buttons. He's here in Ward, South Carolina hitting the buttons. So what's the difference,
Yeah,
but there's a stigma about, where an artist can say, yeah, I'm on GAC Records Nashville.
Yeah.
It's no different than GAC Records, but it's just that name Nashville.
But I'll tell you, like the August #1 song, Zach Top. He's on an independent label, Leo 33. See where it's
Leo
taken
33.
him not only on the Cashbox chart, but it's also taken him mainstream and made it on the big stage. So again, you don't have to be in Nashville in order to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Zach Top. Now this makes me proud. You know who his producer is, right?
Leon Everett. No, I'm kidding.
Almost. No. My steel player back in the Hurricane band days, my steel guitar player, Carson Chamberlain, played steel for me. I brought him to Nashville and from Brea, Kentucky. And he'd never been to Nashville, and I brought him to Nashville. He played, my band Hurricane, 1983. They won Traveling Band of the Year, CMA. Well, Carson was part of my band, and then when I left RCA Records, we said this before. I either got fired or I quit. I don't.
It was a mutual agreement. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it really was.
Go back and listen to the first interview if you really want to know what's happening.
You got to go back to that. Woo. I found out real quick. There's some things you just don't tell the president of RCA Records. So,
yeah.
So anyway, But when I left, Carson, he went with Keith Whitley and all this kind of stuff. And then when Keith died, of course, he's got a big publishing company and all that. And he's a producer, and he produces Dirk Bentley. I don't know, it's one of them. He was producing him, and then him and Zach Top was doing a lot of writing together. And Zach was doing a lot of demos for Carson. And that's how all that got started. And now, Carson is producing Zach Top. So yeah, actually, you could say it started with me.
You are the one that's responsible, because if you'd have left Carson sit up in Kentucky, this may have never happened.
Yeah, exactly. And we was traveling through there one night back in the day. And you know how artists do, you got a night off and you're just kind of traveling through and just go party somewhere. And we just coming through there, and in this club, we stopped this club and, going in and just having a good old time. And that's where I met him at. He was playing steel guitar in a little house band there, and I took his phone number. And when I needed a steel player, I called him, and sure enough, here we are today.
Well, this is the incredible thing about, then this is why GAC Nashville, this actually all ties in together. It's such a small circle, and it's so intertwined. People have no idea. You and I have spoken a few times, Leon, and sure. I know Carson, and I had no idea that you were part of what facilitated him coming to Nashville. I had no idea. He played.
Wow, he did something.
He played in sessions that I did in Nashville, so I had no idea. And so, and the reason that that's pertinent to the GAC Nashville is everybody wants to go to Nashville, but not everyone's invited in. Okay.
Exactly.
And so it's real easy for people to sit back and throw rocks because you've never been allowed in the house. It's one thing for those of us who've been in the house may come out and still join them in throwing rocks, but we do it because we've been inside, right?
Exactly.
And the industry and the magic of that town are two separate things. One feeds off the other. One doesn't need the other to exist. The magic of the people is what makes Nashville so incredible. You had it when you first went. When you finally went up and connected, I had it when I was driving a little piece of junk half-ton Chevy up there, rattling the whole way down I-40. Everybody has their own point origin, when they came in. Either you're coming north from down south or you're coming south from up north. We all go into the same place. And there's, that's the one thing that's different is I love the fact that everyone can do just what you and Brantley are doing there. But when I have people in other states who throw rocks, and they speak incorrectly about Nashville's not all that. Well, yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. It's like,
it is.
Yeah. It's better. It's the old saying, it's better for everybody to think you're a fool than for you to speak and take away out any doubt, Yeah. That's yes, it is,
Yeah, it is.
And we have to go there and prove that we can survive there and be accepted. And that's a thing all by itself. You have that stamp, you have that incredible endorsement. You went and set standards. That's huge. Okay. And so now you can say you carry that part of whatever that is that people think of as Nashville. You carry that and that stamp with whatever. So it makes all the sense in the world. If you're in South Carolina or on the dark side of the damn moon, if you put Nashville on anything, you are authorized to do so.
Yeah, that's right on point. Exactly.
Speaking of Nashville, back in May or June, you made your return to a mega stage. How was that, man? I mean, I was proud when I seen you did that.
Did you know the last time I performed on the Grand Ole Opry was in 1984? And we talked about this before. We won't get back into it, but
again, refer to interview number 1 if y'all want to know the backstory.
Yeah. Exactly. I played the Grand Ole Opry like 3 to 4 times a year, every year. And in 1984, I got a little bit too crazy, on the Grand Ole Opry, and I decided, well, I'm just going to get wild like I do live. But you didn't do that back. You got to think in 1984, everybody still stood there at the mic. You didn't. It was like that.
There is no jumping around.
No. But I said, well, I'm going to have me some fun up here tonight. Well, I sure did. I got wild and I started running all over stage, and I jumped off of the stage and you're going to jump in the audience. Well, that's whenever the new Opry had just come out there, out on Music Valley Drive, and they hadn't really fully put in all the gear yet. I said, well, in front of the monitors, they had the snake and stuff like that there with the inputs, the jacks and all this stuff, but it was behind the monitor. I didn't know it was behind the monitor. So I do like I always do. I jumped over the monitor, and as I was midair, I looked down and I seen all these wires sticking up behind that monitor. Let me tell y'all, Uncle Rob, Uncle Ryano, you can do this all you want to, but you can't fly.
No.
Buddy, I was trying to fly, and I did not fly. And
it didn't take you long. It didn't take you long to figure out that was a bad move.
That was a real bad move. and when I come down, my boot heel, I hit like 3 of the cables. And when it did, it sounded like firecrackers went off in the Grand Ole Opry. It went pow, 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 stuff like that. So I knocked the Grand Ole Opry off of the air for 3 minutes. Of course, WSM was live. SM was trying to come up with anything to keep the 3 minutes going because the Opry was off the air for 3 minutes. And I looked back there. I said, oh, Lord, what have I done? Boy, they was all mad at me. They was running out of cables, temporary cables, trying to plug everything back up and all this stuff, telling us to get off the stage. And I looked back there, and I never will forget, Hank Snow was back there. He had them hands on his hips like that, looking at me like, ooh, you wouldn't believe when he looked at me with them hands like that, And then I never will forget, Charlie Pride. I mean, I love him to death. It was all on RCA together and all, and him and Roseanne. I mean, I just loved him to death. Been out to their home in Dallas and all that kind of stuff, and I loved him to death. But boy, let me tell you what, when I come back off the stage, back to the back, Charlie Pride was standing there, and he come right up to me. He said, I want to tell you one thing, boy, like that. He said, these people come here to hear you sing, not run around this stage like a jackass. Just like that. I said, oh, my. I in the floor because I never heard Charlie Pratt talk like that. And he told me that. And I just said, I said, yes, sir. I didn't know what to tell him. But that's the last time I played the Grand Ole Opry until, like you said, this past May, whenever it was. And it was back on the Grand Ole Opry on the Sunday morning country. And they let me bring 2 of my musicians with me on that too. So, man, that was like after 40 years or whatever it's been.
42.
To be back on that stage. And while we're talking about that, comes September the 15th, I think it is, the Josie Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And all. I'm being inducted into the Independent Country Music Hall of Fame.
I'm going to be
there. At the Josie Awards at the Grand Ole Opry. You going to be there, Uncle Ryano?
I'm going to be there.
All right.
Yep.
And
so we need
that's
to
going to be at the Grand Ole Opry and at Opryland. So, man, I tell you what, like I never dreamed after all these years here that I'd be getting inducted into the Independent Country Music Hall of Fame at the Josie Awards. So I'm looking forward to it.
So we supposed to be friends because anytime that somebody I know who they can completely disrupt a broadcast that's been going nonstop for 100 years, that's bound to be a friend of mine forever. So
yeah.
So that's how. Yeah,
leave it up to this redneck boy from Ward, South Carolina.
Did they give you house rules of, hey, Leon, you can't do this, you can't do that?
No, you know what? I think it was the reason they invited me back. I think I've outlived all the ones.
That's what they don't remember.
That's
all these young guys don't know who I am.
No, they don't. They say this time if you jump, make sure you real lighthearted. Yeah. No, that kind of stuff. You always gonna upset the apple cart if you big on moving and shaking. And so that's just, and it's don't ever, man, it's in the Declaration of Independence or the Old Testament somewhere. It says Jesus ran with a rough crowd, baby. So
There you go.
Yeah,
He did.
that's how it
He ate
is.
with the sinners. That's true.
That's it.
Yes,
And
sir.